Political analyst Professor Ntsikelelo Breakfast, who is the acting director of the Center for Security, Peace and Conflict Resolution at the Nelson Mandela University, joins us now to further assist us make sense also of what exactly are some of the expectations from the president's upcoming address this evening on these damning allegations that were revealed by KZN Police Commissioner General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi last week. Professor, it's great to have you on the show as always. So let's hear your thoughts first on what possible outcomes or action that the president could or should undertake pertaining to these developments. Talk of even a possible cabinet reshuffle have since been making the rounds, as well as those heightened calls for the removal of Police Minister Senzo Mchunu. You've heard some of the political parties' views, as well as citizens also calling for swift action, as well as the removal of Senzo Mchunu.
Yeah, I think the president would want to come across to be taking these claims seriously. And I think also he's going to try his level best to sort of like cool us off, because he's well aware that the people of this country are fed up, or they've had enough regarding the institutionalization of corruption within SABC. And is well aware that, I presume that he must have received reports from security officers which are showcasing some threats, in particular if he falls short of responding to the allegations. Even though I think at the moment one cannot confirm the validity of these claims, but I think we are well aware about the brokenness of SABC. So if he wants to cool us off, if he doesn't want people to take to the street in opposition to these claims, I think the way out will be to put the minister on a special leave. That is the only option that will cool the people of this country off. Otherwise, I think we might see, I'm sorry to say this, but we might see a conflict breaking out on a large scale.
And just on those options, Professor, remember when myself, yourself, as well as our political editor, Mzwandile Mbeje, had a very interesting debate when the DA had actually given that ultimatum to the president about removing certain corruption-accused ANC ministers. We now know that of the official opposition in Parliament, the MK party, as well as the DA, the GNU ally, have opened different cases against Minister Mchunu. But there's a step-aside rule within the ANC also to consider. And yes, Mchunu hasn't been officially charged yet, but we are also already hearing word that he has already been summoned before the Integrity Committee. And what will that exactly resolve? Because judging, especially from its past acquittals, and what happens then if the president doesn't in fact remove or even suspend Mchunu?
Okay, let me address two issues in short. First things first. One of the foundations of a democracy is social contract, meaning that politicians are given a mandate by the citizens to carry. So politicians need to honor the commitments that they make to the citizens. If they fall short of doing that, citizens have in them what is called popular sovereignty. We've seen that in Kenya, the Generation Z taking to the street in opposition to the wrong doings. So even in our context, I think we need to show politicians that we are the ones who hold the highest office if they fall short of getting the job done. I don't have faith in the processes of the ruling party, because they have tended to be applied in a very factional way. So that is at the party level. Now we're talking about the state. It's something that concerns everyone. I'm sorry to say this, but ANC processes are very much factional and partisan.
And just on that point, Professor, this is all actually transpiring during that very critical period in the country where the government has decided to forge well ahead with a very expensive national dialogue, and citizens have raised their displeasure to this, just like the issues that were highlighted in some of Mkhwanazi's allegations have long been flagged by people and some authorities alike, even at parliamentary level. But apparently the voice of the people are not taken into account in this setup. So Who exactly is this government representing, if not the voices of those who voted for them? And then what is the potential long-term impact or repercussions of this process once again being put through tireless, non-ending probes that basically amount to naught because people simply move on? Is this not a manipulative tactic on the part of government who count on us forgetting and not demanding swift accountability?
The trust between us and them, I'm referring to the powers that be, has been broken. And that trust, it needs to be restored. And the only way out of this tension between us and government is for our leaders to listen to us. And that will be really a good thing to do to avoid any potential of conflict. Because I've been hearing a lot of things. And again, I'm sure that the security officers, they do intercept, security threats. So it will be very much unwise for the president to turn a blind eye to the plight of the people of this country. But also the other thing is that this thing, from my standpoint, transcends beyond security. It has to do with the economy. Who wants to invest in a country where there is insecurity? So the issue of security is a multi-dimensional concept with a multiplicity of functions. It's not a concept which is limited to threats which are posing a danger only to the political elite.
Mm-hmm. Professor, let's talk about another very troubling revelation that was also brought to the public for this week. The fact that, of course, National Commissioner General Fani Masemola basically denied ever having underwritten or signed off on the disbandment of that political killings task team. So let's talk about that, because in this aspect, that is showcase proof that, of course, the minister in this regard has actually basically acted outside of his mandate and authority.
There is a lot that is happening in high places, and I think the president needs to move up swiftly to uncover the truth. I don't think that will take donkey years. We don't want to wait until the cows come back home. So the president needs to address these issues. Over and above what you've just said, the minister also appeared to have lied, I'm sorry to say that, in Parliament. That is also an issue. So now you have the National Commissioner of SABC who comes across not to be honest, and also you have a minister who comes across not to be honest. So those are matters of national concern. Therefore, the president, he's our leader. He was elected by people of this country. However, he cannot make decisions and report to himself. He needs to abide by the orders of people of this country. And I think the people of this country, they've given him a golden opportunity to showcase leadership in terms of responding to the national security issues.
Those are the views there from Professor Ntsikelelo Breakfast. Thank you so much for your time, Prof. He's a political analyst at NMU on the possible action by President Ramaphosa during his address later on this evening.